Good morning, this is Jerry Zremski from the Buffalo News Washington Bureau, coming to you again with my weekly summary of what we can expect in terms of the news from the nation's capital in the week ahead. And I have to say, this week all the news is going to focus on the U.S. Supreme Court. Starting this morning, there will be 3 days of oral arguments in several cases, all pertaining to the 2010 Obama health care bill. I will be there for all of the arguments, and I'll be writing stories each day, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And I thought instead of talking about other stories this week, I would just talk in some depth about this one because it's very, very important. First of all, you may be wondering why I would cover it. I've talked before about how I see my job as value added, as doing the kinds of stories that people in Buffalo wouldn't see if I didn't do them. And this one, of course, every wire service, every major newspaper in the country will be covering, so it would be possible for us to just rely on the wire services for this. But we've decided not to, for one really important reason, I think, and that is this. These cases are huge in scope. They could be the most important cases to come down through the Supreme Court in years, perhaps decades. That being the case, I should be there. I should know what's going on so that I can do the follow-ups and do them with a base of knowledge that really enriches my stories. So I will be there cramped in with many other reporters on very narrow little chairs in a very unpleasant environment watching the Supreme Court arguments the next 3 days. So I do hope you'll be watching my stories. I'm going to be hopefully talking to some people in Buffalo about the court case as it goes along as well. So there will be some Buffalo angle to it. Now, why is this case so important? It's important because it goes way beyond health care. The very basis of the Obama health care bill, the legal basis of it, is the Commerce Clause of the Constitution, which gives the U.S. government the right to regulate interstate commerce. The Obama administration argues that by asking everyone to buy health insurance or else pay a penalty, that they can do that because health care in and of its very nature is interstate commerce. Everyone, even if they decide not to get health care, will get health care eventually and have an impact on the market that transcends state lines. Now, the opponents of the Obama health care bill look at things very, very differently, and they say that if you choose to not get health insurance, you're really exhibiting economic inactivity, not economic activity. And can the Congress regulate economic inactivity across state lines? Well, that's the question that the Supreme Court is going to be addressing this week. Actually, it's one of three questions. The court will also consider whether this challenge is even right at this time, if there's an arcane tax law from the 19th century that could actually prevent them from deciding right now. The Supreme Court will also be determining whether or not, if the individual mandate is unconstitutional, whether the rest of the bill can stand or not. And then lastly, there's an argument that the expansion of Medicaid under the program is unconstitutional because it coerces states, under this argument at least, it coerces states to expand their Medicaid programs. So it's really 4 cases in one that could have ramifications far, far beyond healthcare. And the reason for that is the Commerce Clause is really the legal bulwark behind so much of what the modern federal government does. It's the legal bulwark behind economic regulations and labor laws and environmental regulations. So if the Supreme Court were to start reading the Constitution's Commerce Clause in a different way, it would have vast impacts on American society. And so, that being the case, this is going to be one of the most important stories out of Washington this year. So I'm just pleased and proud that I'll be able to be there and cover it. And I hope you'll be reading my stories each day, and I hope you'll tune in next week where I can talk about it a little bit more after it's all happened. Thank you very much for watching.